One of the aspects that appeals to adult collectors is army building, getting lots of the same character. Something that kids don't really get as much because, well, parents are the gatekeepers and don't exactly want to buy the same figure over and over and over again. Now, in the modern go-go era, we do have companies putting out specific army builder packs where you can get lots of the same character at once. And this was a strategy as brand manager of Masters of the Universe Classics I really wanted to bring to the line. And we did this very successfully. Each major faction over the course of, well, 10 years or so, tended to get their generic army guys. Snake Warriors, Palace Guards, Horde Troopers. The idea was to let each major faction have their generic faceless army. Now for Skeletor, we had choices because he tends to command lots of different crazy beasts and monsters and robots. Robots, the Hover Robots in particular, being his cannon fodder from the Filmation series. Now, before we had rights to the Filmation series, we had to dig deep, and one of the army builders that came up were the Skelecons, there we go, I pronounced it right. These are from Ladybird books from 1982, 1983, and we actually really liked these because they had a very cool design. They had that cool Skeletor blue skin. We even did winged versions in one of the mini-comics with the idea that we would be able to put out an army builder pack of Skelecons, giving people the ability to customize by inserting the wings into pegs on the back. Or if you didn't want the wings, you just didn't have to insert them. The wingless version was included with the Roton, but doing the full version with the wings and the extra accessories, well, it kind of fell through the cracks after I left Mattel. I remember getting the Roton version and looking on the back and being like, no, they didn't put the wing holes. So, unfortunately, the Army Builder version just never happened, despite them showing up in some of the animated. But going back to the classic animated, not the modern Netflix one, it was all about the Hover Robots. They were not only Skeletor's cannon fodder, his Star Trek red shirts, if you will, but, they were skilled. I mean, they could pilot vehicles and, all sorts of things for Skeletor. And it's no surprise that for years, and especially with the vintage line being the most popular line in the world, that a lot of fans had wanted these characters in their 1980s toy collection. And you see lots and lots of customized versions and drawings and, well, all sorts of ways that fans had looked at incorporating the HoverBots into the Classics collection. So we knew demand was there. And we obviously really wanted to get to Skeletor's army. So finally in San Diego Comic-Con, we were able to unveil, with the help of some blue goo to keep them upright, our first ever 3-pack. There were 3 packs that would come out later in the line after I left Mattel. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. Wait, we did the Star Sisters. They were a 3-pack. I take it all back. We did 3 packs before. What am I saying? So yes, but this 3-pack was, it was smaller than regulars because it was on just the oversized blister, the one designed originally for Orko, and you got 3 figures, 3 stands, interchangeable arms, and my absolute favorite, the sticker sheet. So sticker sheets are way less expensive to produce than deco, I'll tell you that. And what I liked about them is, well, when you have someone who is actually a toy and sci-fi and nerd fan working on the line, this is when you get this kind of stuff. Because I remember as a kid playing with my Star Wars ships that Kenner put out and included a sticker sheet that you could put battle damage on. This was the second versions of the TIE and X-Wing. The originals didn't have this, but by the time Empire and Jedi came out, you could get sticker sheets that came and put on blast damage, which I thought was so cool as a kid because I couldn't paint. And this is why I wanted to include this with the Hover Robots, allowing you to customize your figures with blast damage. Or you could have perfectly factory fresh versions. Either way, with blast marks, sword marks, all sorts of little damage strikes, you could basically make the custom army that you wanted. And that's sort of all part of the army building aspect of adult collector toy collecting hobby, if you will. Another thing I was excited to do was make that connection between the Hover Robots and the Horde Troopers, since obviously visually there actually is a similarity, and you know from the lore that Skeletor learned everything he learned in life from Hordak. Well, not, everything, but all of his magic and evil and, all of that. So it made sense that Skeletor would copy Horde designs for his flunkies, and we were able to put this into black and white bio in the bio and make it kind of official canon that, yes, the HoverBots were based on the Horde troopers. So there was a connection there between Skeletor and Hordak, reinforcing the lore and how, Skeletor had shunned his former master in hopes of, building his own evil empire. So with 3 figures packed in, and as a non-sub item, you had the ability to, well, buy as many as you wanted. You didn't have to rely on your sub. And we were able to use this to offset the costs of some other figures because it wasn't baked into the overall subscription, and we could bump up the cost. I think we wound up going like $1 or $2 over the original because they cost more, but we could make that adjustment since it wasn't locked in, and we didn't have to cost reduce them, which is one of the beautiful things about doing it online. All right, well, the robots are coming. Now they're just ready to rebel.